Hello everyone, welcome to this video. This is the first video in a series of crochet tutorials that I'm going to share with you, eventually leading to me sharing a few patterns that I myself have created. So this is going to be your intro video, your basics. We're going to go over just a few different things here. Your hooks, some yarn, weights or sizes, stitch markers, a few things like that. So let's not waste any time and let's get into it right away. All right, so for today's video, I'm going to be using what is a number 4 weight or worsted weight yarn. This is the blue color from Red Heart brand. It is 100% acrylic. Acrylic is a yarn that most people tend to start with. You certainly do not have to. I happen to have quite a bit on hand because it is what I use for making amigurumi items. This one I have here is an example of a number 3 lightweight yarn. As you can see, number 3 there. This is called Kubu by Lion brand. I actually don't know if they still have this particular color or this one. I haven't checked in a while, but I will leave links down below in the description for pretty much all of these items, assuming that I can find some of the yarns, and I have links for pretty much all of these, and we'll get to those here. This is one more example for you. This is from Premier Yarns. This is chunky, number 5 weight, and you can see that it is quite a bit thicker than your number 4. And this one I didn't really show you. There you go. That is how thin that one is. There's also number 1, 2, as well as 6, and I think even up to 7, which is like a jumbo chunky. I don't typically use the bigger sizes of yarn. I have used Burnett blanket yarn, but I don't really go beyond that. Crochet hooks. I personally pretty much just use the Clover brand hooks for crochet. That's what I got used to, and overall I have been happy with that. This is a few different size examples for you. So this is a 4mm or a letter G. Then we have a 5mm, and hopefully you can kind of see this is a 6. You can kind of see a bit of the size difference there. Then this one is a little bit different material. It's a plastic, but this is a bigger 10mm hook size for those chunkier yarns. These sizes here, the 4, 5, and 6, are things that I would use for number 4 weight yarns or potentially a number 3. It just kind of depends. I use 4.5 for the majority of my amigurumi. Most of the patterns call for like a 3.75 or a 4mm, but I just kind of like using a 4.5 for mine. So just showing you some examples here of your hooks, what they can look like. Some other materials or tools that you might use are stitch markers. These are also the Clover brand. I was actually gifted these a number of years ago, so I've just been using them ever since. And so these you would use to put in the beginning or the very end of a row to keep track as you go. A stitch or row counter. This is also Clover brand. Look, I'm not sponsored by Clover. I've just enjoyed their products, so I tend to have a number of them. But this is great for when you need to keep track of your rows, especially if you have a lot of distractions around you. I do have kids, and there are days, depending on the project, where I really need to keep track of my rows. If I'm being interrupted a lot, that does happen. This is just a little bit of a fabric tape measure. Sometimes this will come in handy for you when you are working on something that you need a certain length to your row, like say you're making a scarf or a blanket and you want your chain to be a certain length. Some small scissors are great to have on hand to cut the end of your string or yarn, to cut the end of your yarn. And then some large eye blunt tip needles. These are metal ones, but there are also plastic ones. I just happen to have metal, and that is what I like to use. So for sewing in ends as well. So I'm somebody who is right-handed, and this is going to be more so a right-handed tutorial, I guess you could say. If you are left-handed, this is going to be the reverse for you. The first thing we're going to work on is making our slip knot. All right, so for our slip knot, I'm gonna put the yarn in my left hand like this and hold it with my thumb here. I'm gonna wrap it around, and it's going to, you can see how right here it's going to cross over that first one, and I'm gonna grab it with my pinky here just to kind of hold it in place. I'm gonna grab my hook, I'm gonna go under and then grab. Okay, get this off of my fingers here, and then we're gonna tighten up. Okay, let's do that again. We're gonna grab, hold on to it here, go over your fingers, and then on the side here, it's gonna cross over. Hold on to it. Sometimes I hold it like that, you know, whatever works for you. You're gonna go under that first strand and then use your hook to grab. Pull through, get it off of your fingers there, and then you can tighten. Okay, so if you need to go back, slow that down, watch it a few times in order for you to get that. Okay, next I'm going to show you a magic ring or a magic circle. This is typically a bit more difficult for beginners, but hopefully you'll be able to learn pretty easily with what I show you. So we're going to start basically in the same way. Okay, we're gonna grab our yarn, we're gonna wrap around and go over like that. We're gonna go under, we're gonna grab our hook and kind of pull it through, and then we're gonna come back and go under that one and pull through our little circle there. And then we have a magic circle or a magic ring. And then this is where you would then crochet into the magic ring. Let's do that again. Okay, so we start this the same way as a slip knot. We're gonna grab onto it, we're gonna wrap it around, cross it over, okay? We're gonna go under, grab that back one with our hook and kind of just pull it through, but then we're gonna sort of like twist this way, okay? And we're gonna go under this yarn back here, and we're gonna pull it through what we have now made a little bit of a loop there, okay? And then we have our magic ring or our magic circle. Yay! So again, if you need to slow that down, go watch it a few times, and I hope that you can get that pretty easily. All right, next we're going to work on our chain stitch, and that is going to start with a slip knot. So let's go ahead and make that slip knot, okay? Hold on to that tail end there, go around our hand and cross over. And then we're gonna go under, grab that back one with our hook and just pull through. Get your fingers out of there, and then you can tighten that up. Okay? All right, so for your chain stitch, now this end that is attached to the skein of yarn, okay, is called our working end. So I personally grab my yarn like this, okay? I go over my fingers like this. You can definitely try it in the same way. For some people, they figure out something different that works better for them. It's ultimately what you become more comfortable with or most comfortable doing. Okay, whatever works for you, especially when you need to apply tension to your item if it's an amigurumi. So for a few seconds here, kind of figure out, you know, maybe try this and give it a shot to see if that works for you. So now what we're going to do here is to make our chain stitch, or just our chain, we're going to go kind of underneath our working yarn there, and we're going to twist our hook and pull it through. We have our first chain. We're going to do that again. We're going to go under, twist our hook, and pull through. Now we have 2. We're going to go again and again and one more time. Okay, so now we have about 1, 2, 3, 4. We have about 4 now. Let's do a few more here. We're going to go under, twist our hook, and pull through. Okay, I'm going to do a few more here so we can get a little bit better look at our chain. Okay, so you can kind of see here we've got multiple chain stitches now. Let's do it one more time. Okay, we're going to put our hook kind of under or behind, I guess. Depends on how you want to, what your perspective is on that. We're going to twist our hook so that we're grabbing onto our yarn, and we're pulling it through. Go behind and pull through. Okay, and if you are a total beginner, this is going to feel weird, right? It's going to feel a little bit strange, okay? But you will get used to it though. Great, so you've done a little bit of a chain stitch. Now, if you're wondering, okay, great, but how do I single crochet then? That's a great question, because we're also going to cover that. So with your chain here, typically in most patterns, you don't usually go into this first chain. It just kind of depends. So for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to go into not this first chain, but we're going to go into this second one here. So look at your yarn carefully. You'll see that there's a chain stitch that's right after your loop here on the hook, and then there's going to be a second one, and of course a third, fourth, fifth, and so on. Okay, we're going to go into that second one. So we're going to turn our hook. Now, what I usually have to do here is I hold this with my thumb, because otherwise it'll slide off my hook. So I'm going to hold this with my thumb, and I'm going to go into that second space that we were talking about, and we're going to grab this working yarn here with our hook. So we have to twist our hook, and we're going to pull it through. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. So the next thing we're going to do is, just like with the chain stitch, we're going to grab that yarn, turn our hook, and pull through. We have our first single crochet. And we're going to do that again. We're going to go into the next space that's here. Okay, the very next space there. We're going to go into that space, grab our yarn, oops, there we go, pull it through. We're going to do the exact same thing again. Grab our yarn and pull through. So work on doing that down the chain here. Hopefully you didn't make too long of a chain. But all right, we're going to go into that next space. Pull through, yarn over, pull through. And I should use a little bit better terminology here. We say yarn over. So it means you're putting the yarn over your hook. Okay. All right, next space. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through. Next space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, there we go, pull through. All right, so we're going to do that all the way down our chain. And you can slow this down at any time that you need to. Go back and watch. And you can probably see how I'm using my index finger on my left hand here to tighten up that yarn. And I do at times, I have to adjust my hand. I got to get a little bit closer to it. Oops, no, that's the wrong spot. Let's try that again. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And one last chain here. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Okay. So there we go. We did our first little chain, and several single crochets. There you go. Look at you. You are already learning how to crochet. How wonderful is that? All right. And this is kind of what that back side of it looks like. Looks a little bit different. That front side. Okay. Now we're going to pull this apart. And we're going to make a magic ring or a magic circle. And we're going to put about 6 single crochets into that magic circle. So let's do this again. We're going to grab this and we're going to wrap around, cross over right here. We're going to grab our hook. We're going to go under, grab that back one, pull it through a little bit, twist our hook around, okay? And then go under that back one again. And we're going to pull it through that loop, okay? We're going to get our fingers out of there, and then we're going to tighten this up just a little bit so it's not, you don't want it loose on your hook like that. Okay. All right. So we have our magic ring or our magic circle. So to do a single crochet into this, you're going to go into the circle, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, pull through. That's your first single crochet. Into the circle, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Second single crochet. Okay, on to the third. Into your circle, yarn over, and pull through. All right, let's do 3 more. That's number 5 and 1 more. Okay, so we now have 6 single crochets into that magic ring. Now, most amigurumi patterns, not always, it just kind of depends on what you're making. A lot of them will start with 6 single crochet in a magic ring because maybe you're making like the bottom or top of an animal. So usually what you do is you're going to tighten this, and then you would start off by going into this very first single crochet that you made. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but I just wanted to mention that is typically how you start in amigurumi. All right, I really hope that this video was helpful. I hope you were able to see what I was doing. I am going to eventually probably get myself another ring light that I can put over on this side of my desk, or from up above, because I definitely need a little more light happening here. But I really hope that was helpful, and if you have questions, let me know in the comments down below. Again, some of these items will be listed in the description if you want to take a look at those. I encourage you to please don't give up if you really want to crochet. It took me a few years until I shouldn't say a few years. I tried it at one point, kind of gave up, came back to it about 5 years ago, and for whatever reason it just clicked in my mind at that time. So keep practicing, don't stop, you will get there. I hope you'll join me for my next crochet tutorial where we will probably work on half double crochets, double crochets, probably single crochet increase and stitches like that. Thank you for being here. Please consider subscribing, leaving a like, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.